Hello everybody, fellow makers, hobbyists, enthusiasts. It's Clint with Custom 3D Specialties. And today, yep, you guessed it, we got another box from Bluetti. And today it's not a mystery box, it's not a guess what's in the box, but it's a EB3A. This is one of my Black Friday purchases. Really looking forward to this. This is supposed to be a very powerful little 600 watt, 268 watt hour portable power station. As always, double boxed. The EB3A. So we got some foam, we got our instruction manual, user manual, put that to the side, we'll need that. We got our warranty, your warranty card. Hopefully I don't need that, shouldn't, but and chances you do, you could always contact service at bluetti.com. They'll be more than happy to help you out and work through whatever situations you may happen to have. And you get your certified, checked little badge. What do we have in here? We got a little package on the side. This is going to be the MC4 solar cable charging. Yeah, the MC4 solar charging cable. There we go. So this plugs into your solar panel. This plugs into your EB3A. And you can charge for free. Wrapped in a bag. And we got one more little box down here on the bottom. And a little bit more foam. And da-da-da-da! Look at that pretty little unit. It's got a nice little carrying handle. This unit is only 10 pounds, I believe. We'll cover that in the manual. So in this box, we have our normal AC wall outlet charging cable. Another good thing about this is you can dual charge this. You can charge it with solar combined with AC at the same time. Both of these, same time. Let's charge this little guy. Talk about some fast charging. Alright, so all of our goods are up front here. We have a little bit of ventilation on the side. I got nothing in the back. Got some rubber feet on the bottom. All your information, product information, and we have some more ventilation with some nice designs. Got the carrying handle up top, along with a 15 watt wireless charging port. Well, not even port, but charging surface. Now, tell me that isn't nice. Bring this out of the party, all your friends got your stuff plugged in, and you can just go, oh yeah, boop, pop your phone right up on top of there, and you're charging. So let's go over some of the options we have here. And put these down to the side. So what do we have all on here? So we have our 12 volt cigarette lighter. That's what it's always just been called for years and years, because they used to have this style plug back in the car and there was a cigarette lighter in it. Don't have that too much anymore, but it's your 12 volt socket. And then you have your two 5521 12-volt plugs. You have your two USB-A 5-volt USB plugs, and you have a, what is this one? Oh, you have your USB Type-C PD up to 100 watt. That's a powerful little plug right there. And if I wanted to use any of these, you can see it is drawn out in a little circle around it, and there's this little button right here. So I can just tap that little button and look at that charging screen, or that's display screen. Ooh, nice and pretty. Very legible. You have your input watts, so if this was plugged into solar or plugged into the wall, it would be telling me how many watts were coming into this right now. If I had something plugged into any of these outlets here, which we'll cover the rest in a minute, but if I had anything plugged in, on this side here, it would tell you how much draw or watts you're using with that unit plugged in. So say I want to use something here. Push the button, I got the display to light up. Push the button once more. Little green light kicked on. That means all these are now active and I can plug something in and be able to charge or power something. The DC power, that's what this is. This is DC power, direct current. A little light popped up here in the corner that says DC. That also goes for this upper part, sorry about that, the wireless charging pad up here. So if you want to use this, you got to put the DC button on. So we'll turn that off. Right below that, you have your charging port. So this would be your solar charging port. I guess I did still need these. So that's where you take this guy and you would just plug him right into here and plug these right in your solar panel, aim it up at the sun, and you would be charging away. Now say you were in your house and you just wanted to throw this on the charger. You'd grab this, you'd plug this into the unit, and you'd plug this into your wall. And to plug that in, you lift up this nice little rubber dust cover and you plug that right in there, plug that in the wall, good to go. You're charging away. There's 6 ways that you can charge this, that we're speaking of charging. So I covered we could do AC charging from your wall, covered we could do solar charging, covered we could do AC and solar. You can also do car charging with the correct adapter. That is not plugging anything into here, this is just a output. You would have to get a 12-volt plug connected to this type of outlet here. Bluetti does sell them, I believe, as a accessory, but that's how you would charge that by car. You can also charge this by generator. So you can plug this right up into a generator and charge it from there. And then you have portable power, portable silent power. More eco-friendly, ain't gotta listen to a generator humming. So yeah, AC, solar, car, generator, AC, solar, and the last one is AC plus adapter. Not sure what that might be a Bluetti's charge enhancer, possibly. They got a little unit that you plug into your normal wall and it doubles the amount of power coming into it and outputs it into the power station you are trying to charge. So that's a lot of different ways that you can charge this little unit here. Now say that you got something plugged in and you happen to blow the circuit on this. That's not necessarily a bad thing because there's a little reset button right here that you can reset the circuit if you happen to overload it. Now that's not something you want to do. If you plug something in and it overloads the circuit, you have to unplug it. Don't plug it back in because it's going to do the same thing. Or if you want to use that, unplug some of the other things that are plugged into this and use that. But if you want to know how much the item you are plugging in is on the back of every unit. There's a little tag. You just heard me talk about it earlier when I flipped this upside down. There's a little tag right here, and this gives you a whole lot of information. It tells you how many watts it takes and amps it draws, and that is all useful information when it comes time to a situation like this. Otherwise, most times people just look at it and it's just mumble jumble and it's nothing to them. But when your power supply is limited and you are in an emergency situation and you are trying to survive or have something to eat, to keep warm, have some light, something, you need to know what those items you're going to want to power, what they take. So you have some research to do in that sort of situation if that's what you're going to use power stations for, and make sure you get the correct power station for what you need. Excuse me. Now, on to the next ones. So we covered the 12 volt DC, we covered the charging aspect. Now we have, let's go on the other side of our display screen. We have this little, what looks like a light, which it is a light. Push the button once, display screen lights up. Push the button again, we got 1. Push the button again, we have medium. Push the button again, we have SOS. Push the button again, we have off. So it looks like it's got low, high, and SOS. 1, 2, yep. Low, high, and SOS. That could be very useful. You're stuck in the woods, something like that. Just flip this up, boom, you got your SOS. Camping, you just need a quick little light. Turn that on, your tent's, you got some light in your tent. Nice little feature there. And the last section down here, the good section. This is your AC outlets. So you can plug up to 600 watts in these, normal running. And this little unit does have up to a 1200 watt surge protection on it. So say you want to run a little mini fridge. Yes, you can run that off here. And what that surge protection does is it allows that fridge to run, because when the compressor kicks on, your fridge is running hoo, and then you're standing there with the door open, letting all the cold air out, close the door, all of a sudden the fridge kicks on a little more hoo, to create that coldness that it's set to be at. Well, when that kicks on, that's called a surge, because it takes more energy to boom, get that motor going, not to substantially run it, but to get that motor going and cranked up into another gear, and that's the surge. So that's a spike, and say you're here running, and then the motor kicks on, it goes boom, boom, and then stabilizes here. So you get a higher spike, which this will be able to handle. We'll cover some other things that it can handle in a minute here, but yeah, so you can run up to 600 watts off this thing. And these two plugs, these do give you pure sine wave energy. What that means is there's no spikes or up and down. It is a constant, clean, uninterrupted energy. Speaking of that, you can also use this as a UPS backup. So you plug this into the wall, you plug your computer into it, and it will keep this charged, but mainly use this as a pass-through. And then power goes out, this realizes there's no power going through and instantly kicks in and keeps your device powered on while the rest of the house is out. So UPS backup mode, another good thing this little unit has. Excuse me. Okay, so I mean, we covered this little unit pretty good here. So let's just go over the manual real quick. I'm going to cover a bunch of stuff I probably already did. So there are batteries in here. You do not want to keep this out in the sun if you are solar charging it. Kind of put it in the shade, maybe put it behind the solar panels, something like that. You don't want to leave this out in direct sun. Even if you have it out on the beach with you, something like that, you know, kind of put it under your umbrella. Just keep it, you know, out of the sun. And also, if you're out on the beach, try not to get a lot of sand or dust in the fans and inside. Maybe take a light scarf, something that's very, very breathable, maybe even a t-shirt. Not wrap it around, but just kind of set it over it so that you have some filters on the side of here and it won't allow a lot of that dust to get in. Be mindful of your environment that you're in. So what else can I tell you about this? Went over all the charging cables. Yep, there is a car charging cable accessory that you can get from Bluetti. It's stated right here. And that is at www.bluetti, B-L-U-E-T-T-I, power, all one word, POWER.com. Feel free to go by there, check out some of the other power stations and solar panels, and also their home battery backup systems. So, like I stated, this is a 600 watt unit, 268 watt hours. What type of batteries are in here, you're wondering? I'm sure you asked yourself. Well, this has lithium iron phosphate, Life PO4 batteries. What does that mean? That means you could charge and recharge this thing every day, or charge, discharge, every day. Discharge, charge, whatever, however you want to put it. Discharge this down, recharge it every day for 10 years, and it would only drop down to 80% of the battery capacity. That's a long, long time. That's a very good investment for all the things that you could use this for. Weight? Yes. Weight is 10.14 pounds, aka 14.6 kilograms. So the dimensions of the EB3A are 10 inches by 7.20 inches by 7.9 inches, which is also 255 millimeters, 183 millimeters, and 180 millimeters. So the discharging temperatures that you can use this in are -4, yes, -4 degrees Fahrenheit to -20 to -40 degrees Celsius. That's some cold weather, and that's some hot weather. Charging temperatures. You can charge this between 32 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius. And, you know, that's some decent discharging and charging temperatures you get there. The other interesting thing about this, the working humidity. You can use this in 10% to 90% humidity. 90% humidity, that's like you just jumped out of the sauna. I'm in Florida, so I know about humidity, and it is a little moist down here some days. But not as moist as in the jungle. And you could use this in the jungle, you know. So, like I said, power 600 watts, surge 1200 watts. The voltage 120 volts AC or 220 to 240 volts AC. You can change this unit to accommodate what area you're in and what voltage you have running in your area or country that you live in. They do supply Europe, Canada, where else? Australia, and I want to say Japan or China, somewhere over there. And they do have the appropriate plugs for those specific countries and some other ones also. I believe they also have France, Europe, yeah, but definitely look them up if you're interested. Let's see, what else do we have? So the cigarette lighter port, 12 volt, 10 amp. The two 5521s, haha, yes, I was correct. The two DC 5521s, those are 12 volt DCs and 10 amps as well. Then we have the two USBAs, those are 5 volt DC and up to 3 amps. And then we have the USB-C PD 3.0, 100 watt max. And then the wireless charger, you have 5, 7.5, 10, and 15 watts. All 4 of those voltages are able to be charged on this wireless device as long as your wireless, or as long as your device accepts wireless charging. And it can accept any one of those to work on here. So our AC input, up to 268 watts max. So that's the max amount of power that you can put into this. So when this little screen clicks on here and you have the amount of watts coming in, the max that it should say, or that you should push it up to, is 268. You don't want to go above that. You could damage whatever you're using to charge it, whether it's solar panels, AC, using both those together, and you could definitely damage your unit. Voltages, as I stated before, 120 volts AC, 220 volt, 240 volt. Current, if you're on a 120 volt AC, you can use up to 9 amps of current. If you're on 220 to 240, you can only use 4 amps. And same with frequencies. Now this is the frequencies that I was talking about that you can adjust with this. So if you're on 120 volt AC, 9 amps, you got to be set on 60 hertz. If you're on 220 volts to 240 at 4 amps, you need to be set at 50 hertz. And for DC input, up to 200 watts max. If you're using DC input, that's direct current, so that would be like solar or generator, depending on where you plugged it into on your generator. And the voltage would be between 18 and 28 volts direct current. So that number, those two numbers right there are important, because for solar panels, you need to make sure the solar panels you use fall between that amount of volts that they're outputting. Otherwise, there again, you could damage your panels. You could definitely damage the unit and the batteries inside. And the max amount of current that you would want to use, or that it would allow, is 8.5 amps. To go over the screen a little bit more, as I stated earlier, you get some options down here in the bottom depending on what button you push. So I just pushed the AC button, green light came on, and the little AC light lit up here. If I push the DC button, now the DC light came on, green light came on here, and there's also, like I stated, a UPS feature on this. So if you have this in UPS mode, right next to these two, next to the AC here, there would be a UPS little symbol that would pop up. Some other stuff on here. There is, up on the top by the output, there is a charging little battery up here if you're charging. Is that C correct? Oh no, that's a low battery alert. I'm sorry. So if your battery is low, you're gonna get a little symbol up here right by your output that your unit's low. This does have a eco mode, which I'll tell you about that in a second, but that will come up over here by your input. There is also a little symbol that would pop up right in the center above this, the crest of how full your battery percentage is. And that looks like a triangle. I can't do it. It looks like a triangle with a little lightning bolt in it. And what that is that's turbocharging. So that if you're turbocharging, that will pop up and let you know that that is happening. What else do we have here? Up above the AC/DC, you can see it says 60 hertz watts. Well, that you can change, and if you wanted it at 50, that's where it would display that you were at 50 hertz or 60 hertz. Down on the other side down here, under input, you have temperature. So if you were overheating or too cold, you would get a temperature little warning light that comes on, and that's the anomaly alert. Then next to that, you would have a short. It would say short if you had a short circuit. And then right next to that, just before the little 25.7 hours here, there would be a overload. So if you overloaded the circuit, it would also tell you that. And so any one of those, either the short or your overload, that's where you definitely want to reset your breaker and make sure that whatever you plugged in is unplugged before you reset your breaker, and don't plug it back in. And I'll just hold this up real quick so you can kind of see all the stuff there. All right. So what else do we have? So I mentioned eco mode. Eco mode, when in this mode, the AC/DC output will automatically turn off after 4 low hours, 10 watts for AC, or 1 watt for DC, or no load to save on power. So what that basically means is, if I'm camping, I put my phone up here to charge, and I fall asleep. My phone gets charged, and instead of just keeping the phone at 100%, if it realizes that it's not pushing, or the phone's not taking more charge because it's full after so long, which you can set the time in here. You can do that in the app also. But then the unit will shut down, just like you keep seeing the display screen turn off here. That is to save the battery for you so that you have it in time of need. That is a very nice feature and option to have. You have powerlifting mode. So powerlifting mode, now that is when in this mode, both output voltages and current can be adjusted to a higher level for running high-powered heating devices like space heaters or electric irons. So this is where I was talking about kind of that surge that this unit allows for. We'll take a space heater. So space heater's running, it's on, the temps up to, 70 degrees. It's a little chilly outside. Oh, you gotta go to the bathroom. What does that mean? You gotta open the door. What happens when you open the door? You let the hot air out. Same thing your mother used to yell at you for all the time. And so then what happens is that space heater has to kick up a notch to warm up to get up the temperature that you have it set for. So same thing as I mentioned earlier with the refrigerator. When that initial kick on starts, you're going to get a spike in power. And well, that's what lifting mode helps this unit be able to do. Here, warning though, do not use this unit to run an air conditioner or washing machine. It does not support that much of a surge or spike. UPS bypass mode. Connect the EB3A with the AC power, and the UPS will be on the display. Then turn on the AC output, and when in this mode, the AC power will directly support the loads on AC output ports and charge the EB3A. So, like I said, as long as this is in UPS mode, you can have whatever. When the power goes out, this will automatically kick on and keep whatever it is running. Where does that really come in handy? You think of elderly and breathing machines, ventilators, CPAP machines, stuff like that. This is a nice little portable unit to be able to have that type of security and add a little bit less stress and comfort to your life. Less stress, more comfort. So note, max output power, like I stated, 600 watts. The AC inverter is disabled under UPS mode. So that means it's not going to be running and you're going to be using the power from the batteries and you're going to be recharging this. It is literally letting you run the power from the wall and just taking a little bit to make sure the batteries stay topped off and at full charge. So you can set the frequencies in here, like I stated. There is a app. We can take a look at the app. And let's see what else. So just cover solar charging again real quick. 12 to 28 volts, 8.5 amps max, and up to 200 watts max. That's the most you can do with the solar charging. Like I said, you can do car charging, but you need to buy the appropriate adapter. And generator, you can use this cable, plug it right into the generator and still charge from here as normal. The note on that is please select the generator with compliant and stable voltage. So you want to at least use the plugs that are somewhat protected and not generator spiked where you get because that will affect your unit also. So for some of the things you can use on this unit and how long you can use them for, we'll take an iPhone 13 for example. That's a 13-watt phone. You can charge that 12 to 17 times. That's a lot. A MacBook laptop, around a 49, 50-watt laptop, 5 to 6 times. If you're out and you like little extracurricular activities, say RC cars, boats, drones, that type stuff, and you are out, need to charge your batteries, up to 43-watt batteries and drones, and LiPo batteries, chargers, stuff like that, you can charge it 5 to 6 times. That gets you a decent day's worth of flying time. Camera, if you're a photographer and even videographer, a 16-watt camera, sorry about that, 16-watt camera, you can charge it 10 to 15 times. That's a lot of photos. Power tools. Yes, power tools. Take this on the job site with you. You're just a self-contractor and doing stuff after hours, not sure if they got power. You can take power with you. On a brand new job site, they ain't got power ran. Well, no reason why your workers can't get the work done if they all got a Bluetti EB3A. You can use up to 80-watt power tools for 2.5 to 3 hours. That's half a day's worth of work. And if you combine that with the solar panel plugged in too, I bet you that's a full day's work. And I did mention the refrigerator earlier, didn't I? Yes, I did. You can run a 90-watt refrigerator for up to 2 to 2.5 hours. That'll keep your food cold a little longer. What else do we have here? Good thing to keep in mind with any batteries is never fully discharge them if you have the option not to. Never go down to 0. Try to leave, 5%. Let me turn this off. So just gotta push the button again, green light goes off. So right now, I'm at 98%, and I got 30 hours of battery time left on here right now. Now, of course, that depends on what I plug in. When I turn the AC button on, that dropped down to 25.4. That's because the inverter is taking power to create power. So always remember that. So turn DC power off. That didn't change anything. I'm still at 30 hours. Yes, what I was saying. So if you can let this not go below 5%, and when you charge it, try not to charge it to 100%. Try to only charge it to 95%. And what that'll do is it'll prolong the life of your battery a little bit longer, because you're not fully discharging and charging and creating a life cycle on that battery. Same thing goes for your cell phones, smart tablets, any other thing with a battery in it. The more you fully discharge it and fully charge it and leave it sit on the charger after charged, all plays part in how long that battery lasts and how much battery you will have in a time of need. So let's give you a little, that goes through the manual. Let's give you a little example here. So you saw me pull up a plug earlier. So I got a little airbrush here. I do a little airbrushing with all my 3D printing and stuff that I do. Again, this is C3DS, Custom 3D Specialties. So we will turn the power on. We have our display on. I will take the unit and I will plug it into here. I will push the button one more time to get the green light to come on. There we go. And now once I push this button here, you will see that this will get a number that pops up. There we go. So right now, this airbrush is taking 28, 29, 30 watts. So you see when it first started up, it jumped up to 30. And now it's stabilizing around 28. So that is that surge that I'm talking about that you also have to make sure to be aware of. Now, I just kicked this up into a little higher gear that it has on it. And now I'm running 30 watts. Turned it down into low. And I'm pulling 26. So you can see that just by the change of things, it displays what you have left, and also it'll tell you how many hours you have left that you can run this device that you have plugged in at. So right now on high, I can run it for 7 hours. I can airbrush for 7 hours right now on high. So medium I can do almost 9 hours. 8.7 hours. Wow. Say I'm working on a mural outside. Now I'm not saying go graffiti stuff, but say you're working on a mural outside and you don't have power there, well, you got power with you. Say you're painting on a canvas and you want to use airbrush to capture nature. You're not that good with a paintbrush and watercolors or whatever the case may be. Well, now you can take your airbrush and capture some nature. And what do we have next? On low, I can run this for 9.1 hours. I mean, that's only pulling 23, 24, 26 watts. And it's pulling more when I'm not using it because it's fighting, it's running harder. So, I mean, you can see, always make sure to turn the AC inverter off. Then unplug your unit. Just part of maintenance and proper usage. But you see how useful this thing could be just in, my short little demonstration here. So let's talk about the app. The app is a nifty little feature. So grab my iPad here, turn this on. We're gonna go to the App Store and we're gonna search Bluetti, B-L-U-E-T-T-I, and it'll be the only one that pops up. I've already downloaded it, so I'm just gonna hit open. Once it opens to this. And so I want to, let's see, make sure this is all off. Okay. So I want to add, well, no, it's on, but so I want to add this to my units here. So we can, up in the upper right corner, down on the bottom of your unit, when I showed you the tags before, you have the QR code down here. So you can scan that, or we'll allow, but I'm going to go back. You can go add, and look at this. I automatically have something that popped in here. So I'm gonna go click this, and there it is. Tells me the serial number and my account information. It is now connected. My binding is successful. So I can now click on, okay, so the unit is off, so it's telling me that it cannot connect. So if I turn the unit on, click it again, it opens up the home screen for the EB3A. So let's go over this a little bit. We can turn the power off. This is telling me it's connected by Bluetooth and I have 97% left. But yeah, that's what I have. This is our settings button here. We have the unit itself. We have PV, and right now it says 0 watts. So PV is this port here. If I was solar charging or had the 12-volt socket adapter that plugs into here, I'm pretty sure it plugs into here if I remember right in the instruction manual, then you will get how many watts you're getting into the unit charging. It'll display here. And if you are charging per generator or AC plug in your wall into the plug here behind the rubber grommet, then that would be your grid charging, and you would see what your watts were coming in off your grid. Now if you had something plugged into here and say you were using the charging port up top or anything in the DC power, so say you would see watts being used in your DC power. If you were using your AC plugs, then you would see something over in your AC. Now you do have control over all this, well, a good chunk of it, in the app here. So I can just push this button here, the green light turned on, and you can now see that there's a little blue light and the blue line going down to the DC part, which if something was plugged in here, it would tell me how many watts were being used. I can turn that back off. Now watch this button right here. I'm going to push this one. That one turned on. Now you see this one lit up. If I had something plugged into the AC outlets, I could automatically turn them on or automatically turn them off. And same thing, this would tell you how many watts were being used, same as it displays right here on the screen. Just gives you a little bit better picture here. So the last thing to go over is going to be what's all in the settings. So in our settings, you have share device, so you can share this device with somebody. You have charging mode. You have 3 different charging modes. You have standard, so it'll be standard normal charging. I believe it's 4 to 6 hours, but that depends on how you're charging. Then you have silent charging, which is going to charge slower and your fans will be quieter. And then you have turbo charging, which turbo charging, your fans are going to, the sound of your fans is going to increase because they have to keep the unit cool, and obviously it will charge faster. And that's where you will get the little turbo symbol up here in the top crest of the charging port. Next we have eco. So eco mode, that you remember me telling you about that. That's if you have something up here charging or something plugged in and the unit detects that it hasn't been used in a while or is fully charged, the EB3A will automatically shut down and save the battery life in it for when you really need it. And you can set that how many hours ooh, excuse me. You can set how many hours you want to set that for, whether it be from 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. That it'll recognize and shut down after. So anything after, say your phone's up here, it's charged an hour later, if the EB3A realizes, hey, it's not charged, your phone's not charging no more, it'll shut down. The next thing we have here is you can turn the LED light on and off. So you can turn SOS, high, or medium. You can turn it on or off from the app. I know that's bright. So we'll go back down. Just click SOS. And then we'll click that again. And then we'll click OK. Whoop. I want to go off. Go off. There we go. And see, that was all done from in the app. And last thing we have here, powerlifting. So powerlifting, this is going to be where I was describing earlier. If you have a space heater, an electric blanket, something like that, that takes more than the 600 watts on its surge, then you're going to want to put it in powerlifting mode. That allows you to run that piece of equipment that has a little bit higher surge to it on its initial startup. And then we have the firmware upgrade. So it'll automatically update your firmware for you. Here it displays what firmware I'm on. And then we have the unbind button. So there's definitely a lot of useful things that you can do and use the app for. Go down below, click that link to Bluetti. On your way down there, hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and get notified when I do more products, whether it's 3D printers, 3D scanners, power stations, power banks. Who knows what else the future may hold. There's definitely some more things in the works, so stay tuned, follow along. Good night, everybody. Take care.